Yes, sir. What they do, YouTube? It's your boy Gucci, and I'm back at y'all with another reaction video. And today we got something from a channel that's mainly like, I guess he talk about stuff that's going on in the world. And I just recently came across something about somebody crossing the border or something. So I'm about to react to this, and we gonna see what we in for today. But without further ado, I hope everyone had a good day, and let's get into the video.
This is me, in the Rio Grande River, hopping the border between Mexico and the United States. Just last year alone, over 2 million migrants entered the US this way. And despite Texas trying to stop them with razor wire, floating barriers, and warning signs, hundreds, if not thousands, still cross every single day. And many, unfortunately, do not survive.
Hundreds of migrants have died trying to make a similar journey. A lot more have been stopped by US border police.
But rarely, if not ever, has this process actually been documented from a first-person perspective. So we, as legal Americans, citizens decided to put ourselves in the shoes of the migrant, at least for the final chapter of their journey, and cross the river ourselves. This would prove to be not the best idea.
Number one hand, I'll grab you with the other.
Just a few seconds after crossing back into the US, the coyotes we traveled with told us to get down. And as I laid down in the fetal position in the dirt, I could hear the sound of tires coming to a halt and gravel crackling on the road.
Manos arriba. Ven pa acá, usted.
Speak English.
Hands up. Speak English?
Yeah.
Get up. Let me see your hands. Got any guns on you?
No, sir.
Face away from me.
We're journalists.
Usted, manos arriba. Bájate. Súbete. You too. You speak English?
Yeah.
Stand up.
As it turned out, United States Border Patrol had been following us for the past hour using infrared heat sensor cameras from boats. Just a minute later, we were placed under arrest.
Okay, see, a lot of people think the Border Patrol or the people that's doing Border Patrol not paying attention to what's really going on, but little do they know, the Border Patrol y'all like be doing their job. It's just, I guess they be having to wait for a call from the higher ups or something. I don't know. I don't know how all this shit work, but shit, we learning something new together, goddammit. Shit.
Handcuffed and put in the back of a Border Patrol vehicle. The agents, however, remained on scene to collect our belongings. And by some miracle of God, they forgot to turn off the cameras or confiscate our SD cards, which is how you were able to see this footage. We thought we were going to be fine. I mean, truth be told, we didn't think what we did was illegal. But oh boy, were we wrong. We spent the next 4 days locked up as detainees at a migrant processing center in Eagle Pass, Texas. We weren't given a phone call until 48 hours after our detention. But thankfully...
Damn, so I guess they got, I ain't know they had a jail for like, well, all the immigrants that try to, or the illegal immigrants that try to cross the border. They realize throw all their ass in one little jail and then do the whole process and stuff through there, I guess. I ain't gonna hold you, but I'm not too fond on like the criminal system and like how a lot of this stuff works. I am, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like you on the other side of the screen that's watching this, you feel me? I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't do anything to put myself in harm's way, and I encourage my viewers and you all not to put yourself in harm's way or do anything to put yourselves in harm's way either. But this is crazy. I didn't know a lot of this stuff, honestly.
We'd brought along 2 additional videographers for this particular shoot, who were stationed safe and sound on the American side while we crossed the river. Here is their story.
My name is Juan Jimenez.
I'm Elliot Liedgren.
And we got brought on to do some B-roll and film for Channel 5. All of us were like so extremely confident, like we're gonna get this crazy video of what people go through like every fucking day.
This is 250 calories to prevent me from dying of hunger. And then this is a knife to maybe cut through weeds up there.
And we were just like excited. I think we were all excited to like be able to get that footage. But yeah, Andrew and Susan went to jail.
Damn.
Join large-scale battles with military vehicles. The online action game War Thunder has received a major
So basically, he did an experiment. Well, y'all seen at the beginning of the video. He basically was just experimenting to see how, if he could do the process how everybody else normally crosses the border and stuff like that. And the crazy thing is, the shit backfires on him. I ain't gonna hold you. If I was in his shoes, I'd be mad.
All right, so turns out you actually can't do that. So if you're watching this, don't do what I did.
It's a federal offense called failure to report,
AKA illegal entry to the United States.
punishable by up to 1 year in federal prison and or $5,000 in fines.
You can only enter the United States through an official port of entry with a customs agent there. Even if you're an American citizen, you can...
Damn, so I'm guessing this map is like all the places, of entry. Damn. That's crazy.
An official port of entry with a customs agent there. Even if you're an American citizen, you cannot hop the border into your own country.
It took a lot longer, honestly, than I initially thought. I mean, I think we were on the other side 2-3 hours or something.
Yeah,
like
at
that.
least. So we had their location, and I was like looking at it, and you guys were moving like super slow, but we were rooting for you, you know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, they're probably like, I'm imagining you guys like, you know, crawling through the brush and shit, like fighting off like snakes and scorpions and shit, but
we kept checking like every...
just refreshing,
probably,
just
like 10 minutes just being, all right, like, oh, the boys are moving.
They get to the Rio Grande, and we're like, fuck yeah, they made it to the fucking river, you know? And slowly see them cross. America, fuck yeah, they made it. Then they get to the other side and they're just like motionless for like, gotta be like 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, word, like, you know, again, envisioning them just like waiting for the BP truck to go by and like, you know, just hiding out like 15, 20, 30 minutes. Like it was like, all right, like fuck's going on here? And then boom, speeding up the highway. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam, like Eagle Pass, South Texas Border Patrol Station. I was like, fuck, bro.
Yeah. As soon as the Border Patrol agent apprehended us right across the river, both the coyotes who brought us across jumped back in the river, swim back toward Mexico.
Come back, over here.
Okay.
Get over here.
This left us alone in Border Patrol custody.
Oh, they wild as shit. So the two illegal immigrants that was basically showing them the way, y'all heard it. I mean, he just said it, but still, like, that's wild as shit. They realized how straight in the water and left their ass for dead.
So I just told them exactly, you know, what was up. I told them, hey, we're journalists. We're trying to interview some migrants. We interviewed some people on the Mexican side. We just interviewed those guys that brought us across, but we don't actually know who they are, which is true. So they were actually pretty cool. Like the Border Patrol agents, if I remember correctly, they were like understanding. They just said, okay, we're going to take you to the facility. We're going to run your IDs, run your name, make sure you have no criminal charges. And then once we check for that, you guys will be good to go. So we thought it was going to be fine. So we get there to the Border Patrol facility. They take the shoelaces out of our shoes, give us flip-flops, give me this blue outfit, and we walk in. It kind of looks like a DMV or a Department of Licensing, depending on which state you're in. So you know how it is. It's like you got 6 computers behind this like Citadel-type center complex. Everyone's typing away, running people's names and shit. We're just sitting there waiting, you know what I mean? So I go up there, they take my fingerprint, they take a picture of me, they ask me a couple basic questions. What were you doing in Mexico? Have you ever been to North Korea? Like, have you ever been to Russia before? Random shit to see if I was like a spy. They were like, and then he was like, all right, cool, sounds good. We'll talk to you in a second. So I sit on one of the benches right there. I'm just waiting to be released, obviously, because I'm like, oh, you know, once they figure out that we are journalists, I was like, look up our channel, you'll see what we do. Like, we meant no ill intent. It's all good. So the Border Patrol dudes start telling me these stories about how they've had to rescue drowning children and how they've had to discover dead bodies floating in the river and just all these traumatic incidents that their job entails, and how they felt like we were kind of making a mockery of their job and the risk associated by trying to cross, which I was sympathetic to.
I was about to say that's understandable why they feel as though people are trying to make a mockery towards their job when doing journalism, because I ain't gonna lie, for kids to try to cross that river, where that shit, it's not a good, especially if they not like with their parent, no. Especially if they can't swim either, no. It's not a good move.
Looking back, I think we did go a bit beyond what is safe and acceptable, but I wanted to get the story, so I figured it made sense at the time. But looking back, I probably wouldn't do it again. I do my interview. Behind me, there had to have been, I would say, like 200 migrants just staring at me through this glass window. And it was like the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. You know, and they were bewildered as well because they were also wearing these outfits, and they saw I was in the outfit and I'm visibly American and Susan is also visibly American. At first it was a little bit awkward, but then I guess there's some metal star in Latin America that looks just like Susan. What's his name? El Buki. El Buki, I guess they're a big fan. So we hear people yelling, El Buki, and going like this, like El Buki. Susan just turns back and he's like this, El Buki, and they're all just like, yeah! They were hyped on us, you know? And most of these dudes are covered in water from the Rio Grande, like bloodshot eyes. I can't even imagine how long they've been on the road for. Like, if I wasn't mistaken, like most of them were being processed to be sent home. It wasn't like a put you on a bus, take you to Chicago type of situation. It was like kind of dark vibes. And so I'm looking at, you know, all these dudes in the box, as they call it, and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not going in there. You know, like it's gonna be fine. And so they call me back up and they're like, Callahan, you're being brought up for prosecution. And they're like, illegal entry into the United States. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean illegal entry? Like, I'm not an illegal. And one of them goes, I know you're not an illegal alien, but you did something an illegal alien would do. You know, I asked the dude there, I'm like, all right, let's keep it real. Like, when are we getting out of here? And he's like, probably a couple hours. Remember that? And I'm like, all right, should I wait in here?
Shit. A couple hours can turn into a couple days, a couple months, shit, a couple weeks. You never know, a couple years. Don't trust them.
He's like, no, we're gonna have you wait in the box. I'm just like, dude, no fucking way. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm like kicking and screaming at this moment. I was like, I'm a fucking American citizen and I have rights. And they were like, you're a detainee. And I guess detention status isn't like being processed in a county jail.
So, I mean, obviously, first thing we did was try to call the Border Patrol office, and it's funny, when I was on the phone with them, like, I was starting to realize that they don't operate like regular cops. Like, if you get booked in like a regular county jail, you'll end up on some booking website, like, probably by the end of the night, and all the info's there. They'll see when you got locked up, what you're there for. When I called them, they basically said, if you have friends that are here right now, they are under investigation. And if they're under investigation, we're not at liberty to talk about any of this. They didn't have to confirm like whether or not they were there or anything. Like,
being in the custody of CBP is not the same as being in custody of like with the police.
Right.
Because police, there's the Constitution and everything, all of that. CBP, not so much, because if you're illegal, you don't have constitutional rights. I mean, they could be charged with human trafficking if they were believed to be so, because, you know, if two guys going across the border and you bring somebody with you, that's human trafficking.
So being a detainee is super weird because you don't have access to traditional jail shit. Like, there's no rec time, there's no commissary or like phone calls. So I go into this box, right? Extremely bright room, probably 20 feet wide, 20 feet long, 20 by 20 room with maybe 60 migrants in there, all huddled up next to each other. There's one giant jug of Gatorade in the middle. They have a tiny TV in there, and that movie Marley and Me was playing, that Owen Wilson movie where the golden retriever dies. Spoiler alert. And there's one sink and one toilet for 50 people. Whew! That did not stop dudes from shitting. Man, I've never smelled gnarlier shits in my life. I walk in and they were like, ¿Por qué estás aquí? And I was like, soy americano. And they were like, americano y estás aquí, ¿por qué? And so I became like a real golden goose up in that pod. There's this big ass tag on the wall that says MS Honduras, like, you know, MS-13 Honduras. All these fucking dudes in there start pointing to it and they're like, Mira, Mississippi! Aha, Mississippi! They're acting like I did it because I'm white. They were just fucking with me. Susan is in the other pod across the way. So I see him, I don't know what it was, but I see him sitting there and this Haitian dude was looking at Susan like he was trying to like run his cheeks type vibes.
Oh,
you remember him? I look over at you, I see you, and this Haitian dude looking at me like this.
It didn't stop for at least 25 minutes.
So I'm laughing hysterically because this guy's got to be 5 feet away from Susan.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that shit would have made me uncomfortable, bro. Like, why the fuck are you so close to me? Why are you in my face? What do you want? Want a picture? Shit, it'll last longer.
So I keep going like this, letting the homie know I'm all right. Ended up talking to these kids from Colombia, super cool ass like 19-year-old kids from Colombia. Had absolutely no idea about like what America was like. Didn't even know where they were going. They were just like, yeah, we just left Medellin. We're from the slums. We left the slums of Medellin 2 days ago. The first thing they asked me is they're like, where do people speak Spanish at? And I was like, pretty much everywhere, you know, a lot of Mexicans in Texas and California and the Southwest. And in Florida, you got the Cubans, and New York and Philly, you got Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and stuff. And they were like, what about Nashville? And I was like, no, they don't speak Spanish there. I was like the one place where I was like, they definitely don't speak Spanish there. And they were like, that's where I want to go. And I was like, why? And they were like, Taylor Swift, she's so sexy. I love Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. And like, that was like their fantasy, was to just like cowboy and cowgirl. Like, it was that simple. And I realized like, damn, not every migrant is like at the end of their wits. Like, some of them just want to have an adventure. And that's what these kids were on. And we're like,
Yes, some migrants just want to experience the quote unquote American dream. They just want to experience a good time. They come from nothing, so it's understandable. Like, what do you expect, bro? They come from literally nothing, and they have to make with what they have do. And shit, I don't blame them. I want to come over here too and live a damn dream until they actually get the understanding of what it is to be a United citizen.
I was like, are you guys worried about getting deported?
Or
like,
a citizen
we'll
of,
just come back
let me rephrase that, or a citizen of the United States.
again. And so that was interesting. So I chopped it up with them. They were asking me about my tattoos and shit. A lot of them, you know, were funny and shit. Yeah, there was some bullying happening in the pod because there was this kid who wouldn't stop crying. And you know, like, we're not talking about crying. Like, he was like, you know, and no disrespect, because I'm sure he was going through it, but like, there's 50 dudes in there. Half of them are trying to sleep. Some are trying to watch Marley and Me. I keep trying to run the dude up for Capri Suns, and this dude in the corner is blowing everybody's high. And so he's just like, ah! And so I go up to him, naturally being someone that tries to empathize with people. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, Nepal, Nepal. I was like, yep, Nepal. And he points to his wristband, and it said like Nepal 18. So he was from Nepal. And I was like, yeah, Nepal. And he's like, Nepal, Nepal. I was like, God, this guy sucks. But he was cool. He was just so bummed out, and just found it crazy there was people all the way from Nepal and shit. I would say that in the 4 days that we were locked up at the facility,
that goes to show you, like, there's different races all over the world, not in just the United States. Like, it's different races in Mexico, different races in Asia. Like, all that shit, bro, got different races. Like, the world is so populated now to the point where it's just like, shit, fuck it. We all one big family.
we probably saw 10,000 people being processed from all walks of life, from all countries I could even think of. Countries I didn't even know existed. Uzbekistan, the hell's that? Like, some of them, it was a really difficult situation with the translation because most of the Border Patrol agents speak Spanish and English. So they're on the phone with the fucking Bangladeshi consulate being like, do you claim this man? And you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, they got phones and translators and shit. Kid from Nepal is crying. Got Congress people from Kathmandu being like, bring him home. It's a fucking nightmare. It's like you're in the UN. But man, I saw so many people.
Why it always go on the designated target? Right before the good part of the video.
While I was detained, Elliot and Juan did their best to continue the shoot and walked around Eagle Pass asking people if they knew of something going on.
We went to the smoke shop to get some rolling papers, and the locals there, they told us about some street races that were going on.
I started recording, there was first race. All of a sudden, like, you know, and I just happened to be recording, thank God, like, you know.
Oh, he ran.
And fucking, so I got this gnarly car crash on camera, and then the smoke clears, and you can just see the fucking, like, the carcass of that fucking car, like, left there. Oh my God, they were saying it was some $300,000 car that was on Street Outlaws or something like that.
As night began to fall on the first day of my detention, Elliot and Juan went to a local bar called Cooters, expecting me to be released at any moment.
Free them boys!
Free my guys!
Free them boys, bro. This shit's fucked up, bro.
Then all of a sudden, the guards come back about 3 hours later. They say, everybody except Callahan, get on the bus. Everybody from the pod fucking leaves. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to get out of here. And they were like, yeah, your case is kind of a weird one, and the courts are pretty backed up right now, so we're just gonna have you hang tight, all right? See you in a bit. Fucking, as soon as all the homies leave, 60 new guys come in. So I'm sitting alone. All these migrants start dumping into the pod. I'm like, fuck. So this nightmare repeats itself over and over again. man, to the point where even the guards realized they're being a little bit too harsh. So they put me and Susan in a solitary confinement cell together. It was the best moment of my life. They were like, Callahan. And I'm like, oh, am I getting out? They were like, you and Susan are going to the hole. We can't have you fraternizing with these illegal aliens. They seem to be taking a real liking to you. And I was like, shit. So they put me and Susan in the cell, and it's 62 degrees. When I talked to an immigration-related journalist later, they said they refer to these rooms as the ice boxes. How do you say it? Hieleras? Hieleras. And they purposely make them as cold as possible to like send a message to migrants, so when they get out and they go back and tell their families or potential people who want to cross, like, yo, it's freezing in there. So it's 62 degrees. And also, like, the thing that I didn't even know that fucked me up is no natural light. And I'm not talking about the beer, I'm talking about the sun. Like, it fucks with you. I didn't like really understand that I was dependent on the sun, like as a human being. Like, I never saw the sunlight and I was like, oh fuck, thank God. But when you're just like in a room where the lights never turn off, there's no bed, there's no pillow, there is just the cold, hard ground, a vent blowing out 62-degree air, and a little like bench type situation with no mat on it either. And it was horrible, especially because I had no idea how long I'd be in there for. They wouldn't tell me when I'm getting out. I was like, am I getting out tomorrow or the next day? Dude, 2 days go by.
Hell no.
On the beginning of the second day in the processing center, they decided to separate me and Susan, they say, for legal reasons. They said that because our case was ongoing, there were concerns that we were conspiring to provide the Department of Homeland Security with a false alibi, and so they moved us both to solitary confinement cells. Yeah, no, it was crazy. I was sitting there in my cell, stinking up the place. No showers, no hand soap, and also like just like wondering what my bros were up to. I can only imagine how they must have felt. I mean, they must have been worried sick thinking about, you know, what I was going through. Like I just imagined how hard it must have been for them to know that their homie was being held in a small concrete cage.
Was that a fucking a doll? That had to be right here. This gotta be a fake baby.
So all of this.
One thing, them foreigners, like, y'all good for it. Y'all know how to have a good party. I can get y'all that. Foreigners know how to throw good parties, and foreigners, they ass be turned up. They like drinking. I can say that. They love drinking.
Happened to be going down during Halloween weekend. So at one point, like, yeah, and like, it was funny. It was like, are we really gonna go to a Halloween party right now while our boys are locked up? It's like, I don't know what else to do. Like, we gotta get this footage. Like, let's go see what's happening in Eagle Pass.
So we go out Saturday, we go to the Halloween party.
Cheddar, of course, gives us the address. We pull up and it's like, I haven't been to a party like this in a while. It was like solo cups. There's like a pool that fully clothed people are like kind of swimming in. Like everybody's dressed up. They're playing fucking goddamn square dancing music. Like the whole fucking, the party was popping. It was, it was lit. It was fucking lit.
We were like all rolling around with cameras and I was just like telling people to jump in the pool and they would jump in the pool.
Got the fake
Never
baby.
underestimate the power of kindness. But of course, not.
Best shit ever.
Yeah, so learned how to square dance that night. That was sick.
Thankfully, they also did as I would do and found a rapper to freestyle by the end of the night.
You already know, coming up from the 830 to the 405 with my native tribe, spitting this alive, spitting this shit to survive. You already know we're coming up and so live. Yeah.
If he ain't mess up in the first few seconds, he would have had me. I ain't gonna hold you. But that little stutter within the last 2 to 3 seconds.
With the border crisis, you already fucking know. Fuck ISIS. You already fucking know.
I respect it though.
It's been 36 hours. It's coming up on 48. Now we got to call somebody. Now we got to reach out and like keep people in the loop and, you know, kind of make like a team I was under the impression that if Susan or Andrew got a call, they were probably gonna call like the wife or the mom or the girlfriend, right? So basically had to give them a hard call and be like, hey, I don't know how to say this, but you know, our boys are locked up right now. I'm really not working with much information, but I do know that if they get a call, one of you three is gonna be the call. Let's have an open line of communication. We started a group chat, like, you know, just so we could all be on the same page, just like keep all the worrying to like a minimum. It was a super intense situation. It was kind of at first, it was like, haha, oh shit. And then like, now it was like, all right, now that they're being in there for almost 2 days with no information. We have no idea what's going on. It was super real. It was starting to feel
friends like
fucked
this
up.
though.
And then,
They some real
you know,
friends.
your mind starts wondering like, holy shit, maybe this is way more illegal than I anticipated. Like maybe there's actually the thought of like, you know, them being in jail for like 3, 6 months, a year. Like that started becoming like an actual possibility. Like fuck.
As night fell on day 3, hygiene became a real issue. We start really stinking. And so I start requesting showers. I'm like, please can I shower? Please can I have a mat? Please can I have a pillow? Can I have anything? And they were just like, no. You know, I was like, all right, well, can I get a phone call? They're like, nope, nothing. No access to any of that shit. So I was just requesting Capri Sun after Capri Sun for like 3.5 hours. Finally, they let me get one phone call. And so I call my mom. I'm like, yo, I'm okay. Tell my girl I'm okay. Let all the homies know I'm good. I just want people to know that I'm safe, you know, and not, you know, beheaded by the cartel or some shit.
And so it was time to get in touch with some lawyers. And so we had literally pulled up to some
breast cancer awareness festival or something like that that they host every year.
Still not having a fluid understanding of what exactly my charges were, Elliot and Juan went to a local non-profit event to speak with some lawyers. Immigration lawyers, specifically, who were offering free consultations.
My name's Edgar Juarez. I am originally from South Texas, but I'm here living in Eagle Pass, Texas. I am a criminal defense attorney.
So, hypothetically,
okay?
Need you a lawyer, man. Go get with my man Aguar. You see it. He a lawyer, man. He gonna get you
if
right.
an American citizen
Texas
was for some reason to want to cross over illegally, what would the ramifications be? Would they, if they got caught by Border Patrol?
Okay, so if you're talking about a U.S. citizen that's in Mexico and he decides to do a trek across into the United States as if he didn't have documentation to cross, and he were to cross that way, more than likely he will be detained and he's looking at criminal offenses. A lot of people don't know this, but to enter to the United States, you need to enter into a port of entry. There are designated ports of entries and you need to enter through that. And if you don't present for yourself for inspection, that's a federal offense. A lot of people don't know, but it's my understanding that when astronauts land, they come back from space and they land into the United States, they actually have to go through customs. Because why? Because they're entering into the United States. When you enter into the United States,
they not risking that motherfuckers bringing bombs over here. They not risking none of that. No more type of terrorist attacks. They not risking nothing, bro. And it's like, I understand. 2001 was enough, god damn it. But enough of that, because shit, who knows who was really behind the 2001 terrorist attack, quote unquote. Back to the video. You know, America crazy.
You need to present yourself to immigration inspection so that they can verify that you're here in this country legally.
That was the craziest shit. He was like, yeah, even when fucking like astronauts come back, like they have to check in with Border Patrol.
Whoa. What? Astronauts got to check in with Border Control when they come back from a damn space flight? That's crazy. What they think is shape-shifting aliens out in the world that could just take somebody's fucking place or replace them? Like, could just shape-shift into them and be them? Like, hell nah.
End of day 3, about 3 in the morning. Officer Javian, you're the fucking homie. If you're watching this, Javian, you're the coolest Border Patrol agent in the whole world. He knocks on the door and he's like, you guys want to get a shower? Man, he walks us out of the building. Okay, we get to see the moon. I don't know if you ever seen the moon after spending 2 days locked up, but it's nice. I'm looking at the moon, I see the stars, I'm just like, oh my God, it's nighttime. I didn't know it was nighttime. And I was like, damn, nighttime's such a beautiful thing. The stars and the calm of night.
Made his ass appreciate life more.
It was crazy for me to look out there and see the highway and be like, damn, the homies have no idea where I'm at. So he lets us get a shower. Javian says, take all the time you need. We get out of the shower. Bro gives me a Camel Crush. He gives me a cigarette. That was awesome. So if you're watching this, bro, thanks for the cigarette. Real shit. And the shower. Fuck with JVN. Shout out to Officer JVN.
Day 4.
Finally, it must have been 6 o'clock in the morning. The night before, they finally moved me and Susan into the same cell. They let us watch The Matrix, which I had never seen before. It was pretty dope. And then this one Border Patrol agent comes by, and he's like, "You boys ready to see sunlight again?" And we're just like, "No way." And he just drops us off at the fucking gas station.
That's crazy. I ain't gonna hold
Since
it.
we've gotten the
If
bed,
I was
it's
them, I wouldn't
changed
have
our
been
lives.
terrified.
My
but
sleep number setting is 30.
that shit would have had me going crazy mentally. Like, what the fuck is going on, too?
Get fucked up and let us out the bed.
Fuck, boy. Yo, the dogs.
My man got the docs on with no
I wonder how many
shoes.
people have gotten out and just went straight to the bean dip across the street. For real.
Guess what they didn't take?
The SD card. I knew. I was like, bro, I don't know if you boofed it or like hit it under like on some blood diamond shit where you just like hit it in the fucking dirt.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. It's good to be out.
Oh my god, bro. Holy shit, I'm so happy to see you guys.
You guys got interviews and shit?
Chief of Police, Sheriff.
You put a mic on him?
Yeah.
Should we talk about what happened? Or should we? I don't want to go near there.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to go near
Few
there.
words could describe the joy of leaving that God-forsaken, awful place behind. I could hardly believe it'd only been 4 days since I was in the Mexican countryside admiring free-range cows and stressing about my next YouTube upload. This may sound dramatic, especially because it was only a 4-day bid, but I left Texas with a newfound appreciation for my own freedom. All of a sudden, simple
That shit woke
choices,
him up to
like
life.
the ability to pick what meal you want to eat for lunch, felt like the privileges of a king. And for the first time in a very long while, I was able to completely detach myself from anxieties about career, reputation, status, legacy, and other non-tangible things that can disappear or shift in a heartbeat. And just focus completely on the delicious cheeseburger, truly living in the moment and feeling nothing but gratitude for being alive and free. After a long drive
respect it.
home, Susan and I realized we'd both received letters from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Office. Thankfully, they decided to drop our felonies, but still charged us both $5,000 as a penalty. And since that's exactly what the Coyotes apparently expected us to pay them, I'd say that all things considered, we broke even. But
Yep.
still, Susan and I made a pact after this journey. And that was to never, ever go back to Eagle Pass, Texas. But shortly after our release, the journalism gods spoke to us, informing us that 700,000 American truckers were headed to Eagle Pass as a part of the God's Army convoy to defend the border.
700,000 vehicles? That's the prediction here.
The Take Our Border Back convoy is headed there for a rally planned for Saturday.
This is the time for us to rise up as the American people and demand that our president do his job.
This, of course, came after Governor Greg Abbott decided to deploy Texas state troops to seize Shelby Park and prevent the Border Patrol from cutting down the razor wire on the Rio Grande embankment. Among the convoy participants, apparently, was former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin and rock star Ted Nugent. And so for this special occasion, Susan and I decided to break our pact and headed back to Eagle Pass.
You know how they're saying that the Holocaust didn't even happen? It happened. And it's going to happen again if we keep this up.
They're getting free stuff when our own veterans and homeless are on the streets where others are getting hotels.
If you want to see our new episode, Defend the Border Convoy, go to our Patreon. www.patreon.com/channel5. As many of you know, we are a completely independent, primarily crowd-funded news organization, and it's your monthly support that makes this all possible.
Right here, Lord, you brought them here. They are here. They are at our gates.
I'm fucking with
Spirit
Channel
of
5. I'm fucking with Channel 5. I ain't gonna lie to you. This might be, I meant to mention to y'all too. I got a upload schedule now. I set it up. I got everything figured out how I want to do it, and now it's just time to put in the work and trust in the man above to continue to guide me on this journey and put in the work, like I said. But yeah, Channel 5 is definitely a good source of news, like about stuff that's going on in the world. Like a lot of y'all are brain dead because y'all be too focused on these damn celebrities and what the hell they got going on around in the world. Y'all blind as hell. Y'all not paying attention to what's really need to be paid attention to. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I gotta break out of that myself. And it's time to really start to educate myself. And I educate y'all while y'all here with me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel, you know what I'm saying? Help your boy get into the algorithm and just keep floating around, you know? It's the beginning of the journey, and we gonna trust the process, man. I ain't rushing nothing. I'm enjoying the process as I go. And I thank you for all my new subscribers over the last month. And I'm going to just continue to grind, you know. Y'all rocking with your boy and rocking with y'all, you know. That's it. That's all. I hope y'all enjoyed your day. And Gucci is out.